I've been talking to people today. I've been giving advice. A journalist asked me why nobody's attacking Kharg Island, the big Iranian oil terminal. So I wrote a few paragraphs on that, emailed it off. I'll be interested to read that in the papers. I talked to an American congressional candidate today about Iran positioning, and that was very interesting. And I coined a new term to use, strategic slide, a change in strategic aims during an operation. In the 90s, we used to talk about mission creep, which was similar. And one of the things that I've been thinking about is victory conditions. Iran's victory conditions in this war are fairly straightforward. The Iranian state wants the regime, the theocratic regime, the clerical regime, to survive. Full stop. The end. That's it. The United States is unclear on its aims, but as I said in a recent video, the Americans have been allowing their aims to converge with the Israeli aims. That is to destroy Iran's offensive capabilities sufficient that Iran can't attack their neighbors for a period of years. A bit like last summer's obliteration, but to last longer. And the Israelis, of course, have been knocking seven bells out of Iranian capabilities, as well as Iranian leadership. And their aim is clearly exactly that, to destroy Iran's offensive capabilities. For a while, the Americans and the Israelis had a declaratory set of aims. Their declaratory aims were that they were seeking to remove the Iranian regime without using land forces. And although people have suggested in recent days that it worked in Kosovo, which it didn't, we used the Ace Rapid Reaction Corps, the ARC, in Kosovo to coerce the Serbs, and that it happened in Libya. But in Libya, there was a hastily created couple of insurgencies, and if not NATO land forces on the ground, there were proxies on the ground. So I suppose the regime change concept was it'll be like Libya, or it'll be like Venezuela. A decapitation will result in regime change, and that didn't work. It's important for us to bear in mind the Iranian victory conditions, because the Iranians don't need any given group of leaders to be in charge. We've seen, for instance, that Mujtaba Khamenei has been chosen the next supreme leader, if he's alive, even though his rank in the clerical hierarchy of Iran is not sufficient. It doesn't matter. Promotion will come in time, and he will be a grand ayatollah as he steps up. But it shows that it doesn't matter whether a Khamenei is running the country. I quite like the idea that if the Americans or the Israelis kill Mujtaba Khamenei, they might find that Hassan Khomeini becomes the next supreme leader, because that would be the Iranians putting up two fingers to the Americans and the Israelis, and showing continuity, but also showing that if they want to have a Khamenei or a Khomeini in charge, they can. But it doesn't have to be. You don't even really need Ali Larijani running the country from behind the scenes, although it appears that Ali Larijani is running the country from behind the scenes. The Iranians are well along a path to victory, even though they have suffered tremendous damage by keeping their regime in power, by being resilient. It looks like the Iranians are going to win. Donald Trump will declare victory. He will declare that because the United States achieved destruction in Iran, decapitation of the regime, whatever they've achieved, the United States has achieved its aims. And likewise, Benjamin Netanyahu will say that because Iran's nuclear capability is being severely damaged, because Iran's ballistic missile production capabilities have been damaged, because senior leadership is being killed, the Israelis achieved their aims. But if the Iranian regime is still in place, Iran wins this war. And that's awkward and difficult. As the British government finally sends HMS Dragon to the Eastern Mediterranean to defend Cyprus against the drones that are no longer flying to Cyprus, it is entirely possible that in the 5 days or a week it will take HMS Dragon to steam from Portsmouth to the Eastern Med, the war will have ended. The Americans will have perhaps conducted a tactical action that will simulate some sort of victory. The US will claim victory, Israel will claim victory, and Iran will claim victory. America's expenditure of goodwill in the region and in Europe will have been fairly disastrous, but that cost will be very difficult to count. America's expenditure of money on the war will have been huge, but the US is a huge economy. The US defense budget is vast and is meant to increase by half a $500 billion for next year. So I imagine they can swallow it. The war is popular with Donald Trump's base, remarkably, but not with others. But it doesn't matter because Donald Trump doesn't need to run again. And the United States has lost people in the operation, but it will, in the American way, deify and translate to glory those who died in the service of the state, likely without asking the question, what did they die for? At the strategic level, I've suggested today that there will be a realignment of the Gulf. The Gulf monarchies will no longer trust America the way that the other NATO countries no longer trust America to stand up and defend them. The effect on the American economy and the world economy will be fairly disastrous as well. The expenditure on the war is not the problem. The disruption of energy flows is a problem. And again, just as we've had with respect to Ukraine and Europe and Greenland, the idea that the United States is a reliable partner has taken some damage. So, I suggest the end of this war will be fairly disastrous. It will be good for the Iranian theocracy, bad for everyone else, and it might even all be finished before HMS Dragon drops its hook somewhere near Cyprus next week.